Okay, you're here and I'm here. And together we're going to lift the lid and expose the seamy underbelly of the pentatonic scale. A scale that you may have been playing for decades, blissfully unaware of its role in corrupting our society. You may have them lying around the house, leaching immorality into yourself and those you love. But George, it's merely a scale. How can it possibly be as pernicious as you profess it to be? I'll tell you why. Because they're polyamorous. Okay, enough with the gags. But it's true. Pentatonic scales are polyamorous, even if Keyboard Magazine wouldn't let me entitle an excellent article I wrote for them years ago, Polyamorous Pentatonics. They thought that title was too suggestive and too, how shall I euphemize it, provocative for their readership. But I'm going to go ahead and use it right here. The damn things are polyamorous. They have no fidelity to their home tonality, which, if we are prone to playing scales from the dark side, can actually work to our great benefit, as I'm going to illustrate here. Now, the question that I had for you regarding the little burnout that I did at the top is, what did you notice about it? I played, 8 different chords, 7 or 8 different chords, and did you notice anything about the playing I did? The fact is that our sinful polyamorous pentatonics, I started out playing a C minor pentatonic on a C minor chord. I went on to play it on an A altered chord, on an A flat major chord, on a G, E flat over G, even a little bit on an F sharp altered 7th, then on to an F minor chord, an E flat major chord, and a D flat major chord. And we're going to get into this, and I'm going to explain what the deal is with this. But we can play the exact same thing, the exact same line on all these different chords using the same pentatonic scale. So if there's a message here, it's that pentatonics aren't just for minor chords anymore. So let's dig in here. I'm going to play a little bit, and I'm going to put a transcription of this on my Patreon page, but we're going to look at how it works to kind of use this same scale, and indeed the same line, on all these different chords, which is part of what's so powerful and so insidious about the pentatonic scales. So I'm going to talk through this a little bit, and we'll take it from there. Okay, let's work our way through these. C minor 7 pentatonic. Other people call it an E flat major pentatonic. I like to think of it as a minor because if we take the 7th down to a 6th, that's a C minor 6 pentatonic. I'm going to do a whole lesson about that idea coming up. And I don't know what we would call it if we took the B flat down to an A on an E flat major pentatonic scale. So I always think of them as a minor 7th and a minor 6th. So it works great, obviously. Home bass, the wife tonality, we would say here, is C minor. But then we're here on A altered. And I love the sound. It's a great sound on A altered as well. Obviously, it's a great sound for A flat major 7. To me, this one, the A flat major pentatonic, or F minor pentatonic, as I would call it, is kind of a Glinda the Good Witch sound on that major 6 thing. The C minor pentatonic is a much, it puts the major 7th in there. It avoids the root, which is kind of the boringest note we can play. Then we have this E flat over G. Then we come to the F sharp. I misspoke. It's not an F sharp altered chord. It's an F sharp 13 chord, which is what we would want leading to our F minor chord. Here, we want to stay off the F a little bit. So I just played it. I just played it again. So, one way to think of that one is we're voicing this F sharp 13. It's a nice sound on an F minor 7 too. If we wanted to play sort of, F minor is a worthy pentatonic on that as well, but if we're going to cheat on F minor with our C minor pentatonic scale, it's a nice one because, again, it's a little less obvious than this, which is just basically playing, that's an F minor pentatonic scale, which is basically just playing the notes of an F minor 7th chord with the B flat added in. Here we're on the E flat. Ordinarily when I play an E flat major 7, home bass for me, if I'm thinking pentatonics, would be a G minor. But given its role in this progression, I don't mind seeing it as an E flat 6, then down to a D flat major 7 chord with definitely a sharp 11 sound. Which is a very nice sound on there, a little more sophisticated. Certainly we don't want a D flat major or B flat minor pentatonic on there. That's the most boring thing we could possibly play. So let's pick a line here, and I'm going to slow my play along track down quite a bit here, and then I'm going to kind of illustrate how we can play the exact same line on all these chords. It would be something like this. Here we might need to make a little change. You know, again, avoiding the F. You know, same exact line works on all that different harmony, different kinds of chords. Some are minor, some are major. A couple of them are even altered. But I've always told people that I think, you know, if I was looking for the quickest way to kind of get where I could take a really nice solo and have a lot of flexibility regarding how much, you know, tension in the form of extensions and so forth that I would be adding into the solo, and you know, the possibilities of taking it way out. You know, the last lesson I did, if you look for that, it's called Let Play Outside Like Michael Brecker, and I only discussed the first two options in there, half step up and half step down. Super pleasant when you play it as a chord, but really great as a scale. So good command of the 12 pentatonics is a really good tool to have in your toolbox. You know, in that burn at the beginning, I played as much kind of C minor pentatonic as I could without getting too stale with it, and mixed in a bunch of approach patterns. If you look at my lesson series, there's a good lesson on the incredible value of approach patterns. So, you know, let's take a listen. I'm just going to blow over my my practice template. People are asking me what that is. Where am I getting these play-along tracks? And it's something I made in Logic, and it's a super flexible, basically kind of a funk Latin groove, but also some straight ahead swing grooves, and I just put in a bass line for whatever I want to do. Super flexible. It's got a bunch of bass lines in it already, and I'm thinking about maybe releasing it, you know, for sale, not very expensive, on my Patreon page. But I'm going to slow it down and just kind of play these lines. I'll try to come up with something that's not going to get too stale too quick, but you'll see that the same pentatonic scale can be used on all these different types of chords. Okay, there you have it. I don't think I managed to play exactly the same line all the way down, but you get the idea. Kind of the exact same figures. You know, you can get all this additional mileage out of it because it functions differently on all these chords, but it's a nice sound on all these different chords. So good facility with the pentatonic scales is a great way to kind of expand. You know, I always liked them because they sounded more like Chick Corea to me, because Chick had that great ability to cover a lot of the keyboard in the span of a bar. In that sense, they're different than bebop scales. So, if you're a person with loose morals and you don't mind to contributing to the considerable moral rot that we're seeing in our society, practice the pentatonic scales and integrate them into your playing, and you can use them in places that you wouldn't think you could. So there's our today's lesson in morality, and I will see you next week for a new lesson.
Let's play another. Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good one.